I had a debt of $348,000, but I knew the property was a good vehicle. I knew property was the way to go. And believe it or not, I knew I had great knowledge in real estate.
Welcome back to Marketing Made Iconic. Today's guest is a force in the property and finance industry and someone who leads with both sharp strategy and serious heart. Chris Christofi is the founder of Reventon, a fully integrated financial services business that helps over 10,000 clients build wealth through smart, secure property investment. Chris started Reventon with $348,000 in debt and a dream. Since then, he's built a business that not only generates real results, but also has raised over $1.7 million for charity, employs a team of 80 plus people, and continues to outperform the market through a tested, values-led approach. In this episode, we will dig into how Chris built a powerhouse brand from the ground up, what it takes to stay ahead in property today, and why generosity and grit go hand in hand. Chris, your journey starts not with success, but actually from struggle, and what you've built since is quite incredible. Can you take us back to where Reventon started and how you scaled it from your parents' home into a national company?
First of all, Alicia, thank you very much for that intro. I think we should leave it at that because it was such a good intro. I don't know where we can go from here, but
thank you.
it's been a long time. In March this year, we celebrate our 20 years in business, and
congratulations.
It's been an amazing journey. And upon reflection, the struggle was actually the biggest opportunity that I had to show up and to really build a brand and a business. So through all my personal and business struggles in life, I've always found that they were the biggest gifts that I've ever had to unpack through growth and through resilience and through setting an example for my 4 kids. Back then, I only had my son, Alec. And it was very, very humbling because I started in real estate when I was about 19 and I got into the property market. I'm the youngest of 4 kids. And my father gave all of us $30,000 as a wedding present. And based on my analysis, I go, Dad, the way I'm going, I'm never going to get married. Can I have the money early, Dad? He goes, what do you want it for, son? I go, I want to buy a car. He goes, no. Find a piece of real estate, I'll give it to you, son. I said, okay. So that's when I got involved in the real estate industry. I felt absolutely in love and obsessed with real estate. So I got into the property game, so to speak. As a 19, 20-year-old, I bought my first property.
It's awesome.
3-bedroom townhouse in New South Wales, Tweed. I was a rent investor before the term was popular, before it was ever a term. Rent investing is a much better way to build your wealth and to really use 100% tax efficient debt and to invest where you should and live where you want to. So I lived in Taylor's Lakes at the time with around where my parents were. I needed that family support and I'm very close, I'm ethnic. So I bought my first property, I bought my second, I bought my third. I'm 23 years old, I own 8 properties. I'm making over $300,000 a year in my position as a national manager, and I was doing quite well. The company I was working for went into receivership, and it only be $780,000, and obviously I lost my income. Started selling my properties. I lost the deposit which I put in a property for $106,000. I couldn't settle, and things went from terrible to worse very, very quickly. So in the space of 6 to 12 months, I went from owning 8 properties. I had a franchise for this company, was making great money, to moving back into my parents with no assets, had a debt of $348,000. I was gambling a lot and partying a lot and doing a lot of things I shouldn't. And I didn't really cope with that well. But the most challenging part to that story was my son was a year and a half old at the time and he got bacterial meningitis. So he was hospitalized for 2.5 weeks and almost died. So he became deaf, profound deaf in both ears. So he's got 2 bionic implants now, fit and healthy. I can talk to him when he wears his earpieces. The added advantage when he doesn't want to listen to what I'm saying, he just takes them off so he can't hear me. So that's a big advantage for him.
So he's sweet.
Oh, he's rough. Yeah, once we were having I was telling him off and he goes, put them back on. And he goes, and then my partner at the time goes, I wish I could do that. I said, well, you can't. So going back to the story, I had a debt of $348,000, but I knew the property was a good vehicle. I knew property was the way to go. And believe it or not, I knew I had great knowledge in real estate. The difference is my strategy, I over leveraged and I borrowed too much money. And back in the day, being able to get low doc loans were a lot more prevalent, low doc and no doc loans. So I could get into a lot more debt.
Yeah.
Now, my strategy was fantastic if the property market kept growing, if I maintained my income, if the rent was there for 52 weeks of the year. So it wasn't a robust strategy. So I knew the property was the way to go. I knew over leveraging wasn't good. So then I thought, I know how to sell. I love real estate. I need to dig myself out of this hole. So I borrowed some more money. I bought 10 leads. I sold 2 properties. I made some money. I bought 10 leads. I sold 2 properties. Then I bought 20 leads and I just repeated that process. 2008, I scaled the business. Now, my vision back then, on the 21st of March, 2005, was to build a fully integrated financial services company to be able to provide Australians with smart investment decisions. Now, our mission is to help people create, build and protect wealth through now generation to come through property investment. So I knew that I could build an integrated company. Fast forward 20 years, there's been a lot of trials and tribulations. As you've mentioned, we've helped 10,000 clients, 3,500 clients get into the property market. We've secured close to $3.5 billion worth of sales, over $1 billion under management in assets. And we've featured in over 100 publications, won over 50 awards. So all of these things I'm very, very proud of. And that was a testament to an amazing team, extremely hard work, and a love for real estate, and a love for helping people achieve their financial dreams. I also wrote a book, which is an Amazon bestseller in 3 categories, called Your Path to Wealth. And in that book, and the reason I bring that up, you mentioned pretty much everything else. The book, and I also
I didn't mention that.
I also have a podcast in its 7th season, which we're filming as well, called Relentless Life on Your Terms. In that book, I've developed a strategy called the Reventon Formula. And what that does, it shows people how to safely invest in real estate and how to duplicate a successful process. So we've helped thousands of clients do this. But I wanted to also make my knowledge available to people for $20, and everything that I've learned through all my years in real estate and all my dealings, and 100% of the proceeds of that book go towards charity. They go to submit to the poor, homeless in the country. So it was a give back strategy, but it was also to help educate people with knowledge. Now, ideally, I'd like them to pick Reventon to work with, but if they don't pick Reventon, they do it themselves. I want to arm them with the best knowledge and the best chance of success and the best chance of growth, and how to employ a safe strategy. So that's why I wrote that book.
You seem like someone to me that's got quite an ingrained, self-motivation, if I can put it that way. I think people who go through journeys of starting their own business or whatever it might be, their property journey or what have you, most actually quit when there's struggles along the way. Is it something ingrained in you, the self-motivation that sort of kept you moving, or was it the belief around the property and knowing that there was opportunity there and you'd learnt from your mistakes? Or
Well, look, that's the thing that I love the most, because through adversity, you see who shows up, and diamonds are formed through extreme pressure, and humans are the same. So I'm actually a little bit, I'm saying not all there, because I love that challenge so much. It's when I'm excited the most, because I know what's going to come out the other end. And I also know that I have a very, very important role to play in my 4 children's lives, to show that resilience and not giving up isn't an option.
Yeah.
So I love and embrace those challenges. And upon reflection, the harder the challenge is, it might take 6, 12, 24 months, depending on how difficult that challenge is. The lesson will be so much greater. And the setback's only one part, but the comeback as a business person, as a father, as a human being, is so much more rewarding. So
Mm.
You never lose. You win or learn. So as long as you show up. So through all those adversities, I saw my greatest lessons and I saw my greatest victories. And rocking up to the office, not knowing what's going to happen, and having a bunch of people to look after, to pay, and having all these clients that you really want to serve, it gives you that motivation that you need to really show up. Business is not easy. I am self-motivated, always have been. I don't know how or why that comes from. It's an ability to evolve. It's an ability to want to serve. And whenever I achieve even my biggest goals, I never say, well done. I say, how much more did I have in the tank? How much more could I have pushed? And I always set lavish goals, and I set a stretch goal. But I think
Yeah.
it's what makes me me. It's what I enjoy the most. When you see your team thriving, when you see your clients thriving, it's so self-rewarding, which leads into obviously the philanthropy work as well. That actually leading with purpose for me is so important.
Yeah. What's one lesson that you learned from sort of starting out a little bit rough?
That I was blessed to start out rough. The best
Yeah.
position to start is rough because most businesses are built through hardship. So when I scaled my business in 2008 through the midst of a GFC, everyone goes, Chris, don't do it. You're crazy. I go, this is the perfect time to scale. When I was about to start, before the company went to receivership, I wanted to go on my own. My mother and mother-in-law at the time said, don't leave. You're making great money. You've got all these properties doing well. I said, but I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. So
Mm.
understanding that, and entrepreneurship's not for everyone. And it's important to identify what makes you happy. There's
Yeah.
entrepreneurship where you can work within a business and be great. So it's not cut for everybody. So it's important to note that, not everybody is cut, or not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, which is fine. You might
Yeah.
want to be an entrepreneur to work within a great company. So all of that's fine. So I think when I had a team started and they were performing through the best market and they were kicking goals, I actually find that a lot worse for them, because when the market turns and it's difficult, they've only known great times. So when I
Mm.
started selling real estate in Queensland, it was when two-tier marketing was about. I never had all these options, and that was the best time to start because it was a lot harder. Put someone through tough conditions, they're only going to thrive in good conditions. So when the market's good, everyone's a genius. My ex-boss used to say, blind Freddie would make money. They'll touch the property, buy it, and it grows up. They're a genius who made money. But it's through navigating through tough times. That's how we've been able to get those great returns. It's through looking at forward indicators and understanding where the market is heading. It's like if I said to you, Alicia, here's the lotto numbers for last week. They won $10 million. What good are they to you?
Yeah.
It's predictive. It's done. It's finished. It's historic, sorry, not predictive. So if I tell you, here's the lotto numbers for next week, there's 10 million, that's more valuable. So
Yeah.
when you look at and you can't do that with lotto, of course, when you look at forward indicators when it comes to real estate, why did a market grow? What was the population, the infrastructure, the employment, the diversity of employment? What were the key driving factors to make that market move? If you're hearing about a market booming and then all the marketers and all the property companies go there, you're probably too late. You're looking at
Mm.
the next area. So we always pick the market because I'm looking at the forward indicators, the 9 o'clock on the property market. Why is it an emerging market? And that's so important when it comes to investing.
Mm. You mentioned before you've developed this tested methodology called the Reventon Formula. How has that evolved over time?
No formula is ever complete, I believe. No human is ever complete because you're always evolving and fine tuning. So I
Mm.
knew that when I was young, I had a very good understanding on how to make money through real estate, but I didn't have the right safety nets in place. That's how I lost it all, yeah?
Yeah.
I over leveraged. I borrowed too much money. So I made sure with my clients that I don't over leverage. They've got the right safety nets in place. They can allow a 2% interest rate rise. They've got an 8% vacancy rate. They've got a 2% buffer, just to mention a few,
Mm.
because the first property I always say is the most important when it comes to investing, because it's the stepping stone to your second, third, and fourth. I'm a self-obsessed learner and I wanted to go to all these seminars. I'm reading all these books and I'm thinking, how come Alicia bought 3 properties in 10 years and she has $100,000 income, but John has bought 6 properties in 10 years and he has $100,000 income? What's the difference?
Yeah.
And it's because he understands that if you put a stepping stone close, you can take the next step a lot quicker. If I over leverage and I don't understand the market conditions and I put a product which is more expensive, it's going to take me longer to get that next property and that next property. And it's also not going to be the same. Now, I learned those lessons the hard way personally, but the Reventon Formula is always evolving. But the most interesting thing that I did in 2017, don't buy now. It's not the right time to buy. And all the fear mongering and people are telling you not to buy. I know my strategy works. I know I teach people, but I also live and breathe it. So I started to go on an experiment and I started to buy real estate. And I bought 17 properties in 3 years.
Wow.
Using my methodology. Now, most people might not have my income, so they can't buy 17, but you can buy 5, 6, or 7, or 8, whatever it may be. Some might be able to buy more. So I used my methodology. I put my money where my mouth is, and I bought in multiple areas through using the same builders, same developers. And when I speak on stage and when I do seminars, there's a slide that goes on with all my properties, and I go, you can take a photo of this slide. There's the purchasing entity. That's when I bought them. They made over $2.5 million in capital growth, $430,000 in cash flow, $191,000 in positive cash flow per year just from those properties through using my methodology. So when I say it's trialed and tested, when I say clients have done it, when I say that I do it, I can say it with conviction.
Yeah. Wow. I was just going to ask, was it actually 17 properties that you bought? And you've answered that.
I bought more than that, but that was through using the methodology, through using that. So my portfolio was bigger than that, but I wanted to do this experiment and I'm front to back. This is what I'm going to do. And I wanted to tick every box. Hey, Chris, that was one area. You got lucky. So I made sure it was multiple areas. I made sure I used different builder developers. I made sure I ticked every box because I came in it from a position of a skeptic. What will they say? And I ticked every box.
Yeah. What do you think is missing for most people that don't achieve that kind of portfolio growth? What's like the biggest mistake they make?
Action. The smallest action is more powerful than the greatest thought. So you find someone who's very, very good at what they do, that has a proven track record, that lives and breathes real estate. Don't give me someone online that's 21 and doesn't own real estate and is talking to people about real estate. Give me someone who's been in the game for a long time, who's helped thousands of clients, that buys real estate himself or herself, I don't mind if it's who it is, proven track record, lives and breathes it.
Yeah.
Because action's the most important thing. And people do that through fear. They listen to their uninformed family and friends, people that tell you why not to do things. I can't do that. Now's not the right time. I don't have the deposit. You might not need a deposit. You might be able to use equity. You might be able to pull with other people money. You might be able to use different LVRs because your DSR is good, which is your debt to service ratio. There's so many factors. But no matter what you can and can't do, don't tell me you can't have a conversation with someone. Don't tell me you can't educate yourself on what to do sooner. Now people go, Chris, I can't invest yet. Well, can you have a conversation? Now, if you were going to take 3 years to invest, what about if you had a conversation that could expedite that project if you're doing a year and a half? Don't try it to yourself to have that conversation. Now, I say to people, no one cares about your money more than you. So your actions need to be aligned with what I just said. So you need to take action to your retirement. Do you think the government's going to be there and say, hey, you're a nice person, here's a big check at the end of it? No one cares about you more than you. So your actions need to be aligned. So when I speak to my clients, I tell them my journey. I tell them why it's important to me, why it's important for me to make sure that I have money to educate my kids, to eat nice foods, to travel to nice places, whatever's important to you.
I love the emphasis on taking action. I think it's on Shark Tank where they get a bunch of investors on there and they've been asked before, aren't you worried? Sorry, not investors, inventors. And the inventors are asked, aren't you worried that your idea is going to be seen by so many people? And one of the inventors said, well, no, I'm not, because there's only a very small percentage of people that will actually act on it. So
Beautiful point.
anyone could have the idea. No one's actually going to progress unless they
But
act
also
on it.
do it like you. And if you do it for the right reasons, and if you look at the biggest example, Elon Musk, he has an open patents to how he makes electric cars. Now, his mission isn't to help Tesla sell electric cars. It's to, and I might misquote it, so don't hold. It's to increase the advent of electric cars in the country, in the world, in the globe. So he has an open patents. This is what I'm doing. So his mission is beyond Tesla. It's beyond electric vehicles. It's global. So his vision's to help, his vision's to serve. And that's one of the most extreme examples. Now, if you're worried someone's going to copy, just take action.
Yeah, that's it. I've been trying to tell my 17-year-old that for a little while now. He's still got time. Now, I think you mentioned to me you outperformed the market 3 to 4 times by simply knowing where to invest before the headlines hit, so to speak. Tell us what the 4 key indicators are that you look at when choosing a growth area.
Population growth. So when you look at population, it's a very good indicator of where money's going to be spent. So if you look at where Costco's are going to go in, where Bunnings, they do a lot of research before they invest that sort of capital.
Yeah.
Schools, shopping centers, so like walk scores, so the proximity to transport, so that's important if it's got tenants. What's the owner-occ rate versus rental rate? That's very good for supply and demand when it hits the market. On-sale rate, maintenance of properties around the area. Infrastructure. Where there's infrastructure, it creates jobs. It creates demand. Now there's jobs that are seasonal, so they're going to build a hospital and they go, but that creates permanent jobs. So there's 2 factors there: the jobs that it's bringing into the area, and also the jobs that it will maintain. Employment, is it underpinned by one thing or many? If it's underpinned by one thing, and I'll use an example of Perth. When Perth was underpinned by mining, it went up spiked up quick, but also went down. So we didn't invest in Perth. It's underpinned by one thing. Now, 4 years ago, I started investing in Perth for my clients because it's underpinned by many more. Now, it's like a chair. If it's got one leg, it can snap and it's not steady. If you've got 4 or 5 legs and you look at that underpinning economy, it's a lot more stable. It goes up, but it will also be sustained. So I started investing in Perth when it was more than just mining. Employment's important, and diversity of employment. Because if it's only one area of employment, it also increases the risk of that sector. Yeah. So you look at all these key factors, and that's just, there's also macros within that are important to consider. But at Reventon, I'm going to give you a 3-step formula that we follow. Number 1, there's certain things that I look at before it becomes a Reventon approved property. Tick 1. Independent research is step 2. I want to make sure that my research is on point, and I look at reports that suggest that we're on the right path. But the third one, which is the most important in my mind, would you personally invest there, Chris and team, family? Would you put your money where your mouth is? We did a campaign, Invest Where We Invest. Now, everywhere we sell, I can tell you that I will be your next door neighbor, my family will be, all my team members will be. We invest where we tell people to invest. We put our money where our mouth is. So if the first check and balance isn't good enough, if our results aren't good enough, if the independent research isn't good enough, hey, we're right there with you. So it gives me a lot of confidence when I say to my clients that, when my team leads by saying that we're also investors in the same areas. Yeah. And it's also one of our biggest points of difference. A lot of people say a lot of things, but are their actions aligned with what they're saying? Do they live and breathe it? So I think that makes us very unique in the market. Yeah. But the thing that makes us most unique and will make us always unique is our team. Our team is individual to Reventon. We're a group of like-minded people that love real estate. We love helping people make money, and we problem solve. Now, when people say, Chris, are you saying there's never any challenges? Everything's smooth sailing? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying when there's a challenge, I'm saying when something goes wrong, we pick up the phone and we problem solve it and we fix it for you.
Mm,
That's the key difference.
yeah. I love your analogies.
Thank you.
Can you give us an example of a market that you entered early and the results that your clients saw?
No, I don't like sharing our secrets unless they pay us money. I'd love to share this with you. And I wrote all that in my book, and I love
Yeah.
sharing as much knowledge. And I've had people say to me, Chris, you helped me so much. I did it by myself. And I go, I'm
Mm.
still happy because I want people to get into the market safely and securely. I don't think anyone would do it as well as us. I don't mean Reventon. I mean, as a group of people. That's why you've got a team of 5. But I'm going to give you multiple examples, okay?
Okay.
So in 2014, we started investing in Geelong. We saw all the forward indicators. Our clients made a ton of money in Geelong. Then
Wow.
we went to Southeast Queensland. Then we went to Adelaide. Then we're in Perth. Now we're switching again. So we're always ahead of the bell curve and we're always ahead of the growth. And 3-4 years later, a lot of the companies similar to us go into the areas we're gone. Half the times we're almost on our way out. So we researched the area extensively beforehand because I want to hit that emerging point. Now, people still invest in Geelong, they still invest in other areas. They might not grow as much as they saw at the start, but they're still good investments because you want to basically, you want 3 things when you buy property. You want high tax savings. So you want to buy new build in most cases, has good depreciation, 7 years fixtures and fittings, 40 years at 2.5% on the build. You want high cash flow. So you want to buy a good area, 400, 500, 600 that's got about 4.5 to 5% return. And you also want strong tax savings, which is the new build. Tax savings, cash flow, and capital growth. Sorry, I forget which one I said in what order. They're the 3 key things you invest for. So I wrote about that in my book with Property Pyramid, and there's a sweet spot to look for. So we look for that sweet spot that can offer all 3. And the good thing about that is, and I say to clients, the properties that we sell are recession-proof. And they go, that's a bit out there to say. I go, they're recession-proof. I go, because in the property, the sweet spot that we look at, people are always looking for properties to invest. They have a very low vacancy rate because there's so much demand for them. Single incomes, families rent them, they're 4-bedroom homes, so they're always very up. So I use the analogy, it's like the Zara of clothes. No matter where the market is, people still need those clothes. It's an affordable price point that offers all these great tax savings, and it's an easy to duplicate that process to buy a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So the analogy that we gave before, buying the first property is the most important because you want to be able to repeat that again quickly and quickly. So the last chapter of my book is brick on brick on brick, which refers to duplicating a successful process. And also, if you own property in different locations in Australia, your strategy is more nimble. So instead of buying a $2 million property, I'll sell you 3 properties in different locations. Now, what that means is you can sell them in bite sizes. A $2 million property might rent at $1,200 or $1,300. If I buy 3, I'll get $1,800 to $2,000 across 3 investments.
Yeah.
My strategy is more nimble, so I can sell down one, leverage off one, go into different areas. And different states peak at different times in Australia. So another massive advantage through using Reventon is we look at opportunities Australia-wide.
Yeah. What's your outlook for the property market in 2025 and beyond?
I'm very excited about the property market in 25 and beyond. But let me preface that by saying I'm always excited about the property market, no matter where the property market is, because there's always opportunity. You can always buy well in certain locations. So, you know, when people look at the median house prices, that's not indicative of all areas. So there's pockets that way outperform that. There's other pockets that are lower. So when you separate the noise and you understand that no matter where the property market is, you'll always make money in real estate. Bold statement. If you buy for the right price in the right area and you keep it for the right amount of time. So people say location, location, location. You've heard that many times. I've coined the phrase Affordability. If you can afford in the right location at the right price, you're always going to make money in property because it's going to grow. The cost of inflation will push it up. The cost of building, the cost of labor, these things alone, we're going to push the property prices up. Then we get the equity and we go again.
Yeah, nice. Now, you've said to me, you don't have customers, you have client, and
Yeah.
client runs deep through the team as well. What's the key to building trust that leads to referrals and repeat clients?
Do what you say and get results. So I'd say to some of my clients, when I used to be in the front foot when I'm selling, I'm only going to ask you for your trust once. I'm never going to ask you for it again because my results will do the talking. When a client purchases a property off us, I tell my team to shake their hand and say, congratulations. This is where our service begins. It doesn't end. We do our 6-month reviews. We have a client service team, a mortgage broking team, property management team, accounting, financial planning. It's a fully integrated service. We'll touch points with our clients 30, 40 times a year, in-face, digital. And even if they can't buy another property, I still want them in their reviews. I want them to keep us on our toes. I want them to see that we're working hard for them. And I want to make sure that they understand that we're grateful that they entrusted us with this massive future thing to buy a property, these massive commitments to their family, to grow their wealth. And I take that commitment very seriously. My whole team does.
Yeah. And tell us what happens when things do go wrong and how do you and the team handle that?
I treat every challenge and every issue that the client's having. I tell my team to treat it like a new lead. Get on the phone and call it straight away. Deal with it instantly. Don't make a small thing into a big thing. Now, when things have gone wrong and they've been out of my control, builders, developers, solicitors, I never point fingers. I take full accountability and I make sure I make it okay. I've driven to clients' houses before. I've flown into state and spoken to people before. If they want to see me personally, they will see me personally. I don't care what it takes. So a lot of people bury their head in the sand, or it's the builder, it's the developer. You will never hear that from me. What do we need to do, and let's fix it. Let's work together.
Yeah.
So the key difference is a lot of people remember their clients when they're trying to get a sale. A lot of people remember their clients when they're talking to them, when they're trying to sell them a piece of real estate. Where are you when things aren't going good? Where are you when the clients need you? And I make it a point to show up then as much as I do at the start. So the reason we've been in business for 20 years and we're going to be in business for another 30 is because I take that commitment serious through the good and the not so good.
Yeah. I really want to unpack a bit more around your purpose and the philanthropy activities that you do as one of the inspiring parts of your story. We're not just talking money, we're talking time and leadership. So can you tell us about your work with St. Vincent de Paul and the Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out? How did that begin? Tell us all about it.
Yeah. The funny story of that. About, I don't know, for as long as I can remember, over 15 years, maybe 20, I never walked past homeless people and not acknowledge them. I used to always buy the food. Now I'm very fortunate, so I can always give them money. All around Chapel Street, or where I live, I know most of them on a first name basis. They know my kids. I walk past and I'll always give them money or speak. So, and people go, why is homelessness so important to you? And the short answer is, I'm not sure. It's never affected me personally, but when I was 24 and I lost everything, if I didn't have the support network of my family, I could well have been homeless. And it could happen to anyone. You saw these big CEOs and they were just unfortunate. They've had one bad decision. It's domestic violence, it's drugs, anyone can make a bad decision and anything can compound. And being a human being, I feel it's our moral obligation to offer hope, to be kind, to be compassionate. Because if I'm sitting in that seat, I'm only responding to people the way I want them to respond to me. And also I want to show my kids, and my father was always probably the kindest, nicest human I've ever met. So for many, many years, I'll do that. And every Christmas, New Year's, I'd get 5 to 10 cards. and I'd put $100 to $200 in each card, and I'd write a message, and I'd buy food, and I'd go hand it out. But I want to speak to the person. I'd give them the card and the food. And I've had things like this change my life. This is such an amazing day. Thank you. And it was before they even opened the card, mind you. The fact that you stopped and acknowledged them. So I had a friend of mine who goes, Chris, you need to come to Venice. I said, no, thank you. They said, why? I said, I don't want to do this charity stuff and people think that's why you're doing it. It's for other reasons. No. Come on, Chris, you'll be great at it. You already do it. No, thank you. Anyway, they convinced me and I did it 1 year. And I raised, I think, $40,185.
Wow.
And the first day I was on a mission to go speak to people and find out what this is all about. How much goes to charity? How much is volunteers? And I'm asking all these questions. And I said, all right, I'll do another 5 to 10 years because I liked what I saw. And they loved my passion, and I raised, I came third in Victoria that year, and they appointed me an ambassador. And I was on a mission. And I don't like social media. You might see me on social media all the time. I do a lot of podcasts, always got a camera in my face. I'm very good at speaking. I love people, but I don't like social media. So the first video I ever did was me on a Facebook Live for some minutes to pause on my first sleep out. And it's called My First Time. And I did the video and I saw the impact that had. And I know that if I'm doing it for the right reasons, which everything that I do my best to do it for the right reasons, and I don't care what people say, I'm going to do it. So I do a lot of social media, and it's all around work, it's around impact, and it's around giving. So the second year I was appointed ambassador. I raised $60,564. And then I said, I'm going to raise 80 next year and 100 the next. I raised 82,177, 113,173. And I kept raising the bar. And I kept saying, next year I want to do this. So come in my fourth year, they put me the face of the campaign as well. I'm on all these billboards. And I think, I keep hitting my target. I'm not pushing enough. Next year I'm going to raise 200,000. And I'm in the bed the night before the sleep out, and my ex-wife, and I'm on my drafts. She goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm just writing a plan on how I'm going to raise 200,000. She goes, you haven't even finished this sleep out yet. I go, but I've already raised 100. It's out of my head. So I came up with a plan on how I'm going to raise 200. And then I called up and I go, what's the most anyone's ever raised? They go, 220. I go, put me down for 250. I'm going to be the first year to raise 250,000 in a year. They go, really? Sure. So I raised $263,096 the following year. So I come up with different ideas. I run charity events, Lead with Kindness. I'm about to do my fifth. And after my third year, I was at Gumtree on Chapel Street. And I'm with my ex-wife and kids, and I'm supposed to be listening. I don't know what she's saying. I'm daydreaming in my own world. And I pick up the phone, and I call Jen Yuk, who's the general manager at Vincent, Vincent de Paul's, and I go, hey, Jen, I've got an idea. She goes, what is it? I go, I want to build a house paid off and donate to Vinny's. She goes, what? I go, can we do that? She goes, sure. I go, bring the lawyers into my office. Now I researched that if I buy a home and I build wealth through it, there's no capital gains because it's through a trust. So I can showcase my skills, I can pay off a house, and I can save money for tax and make even more. Now they go, Chris, there's only one problem. I go, what is it? You can't have a loan in a trust and it's for a charity. I go, so if we buy it outright, is that solve that problem? They go, yeah, cool. So how are we going to do that? I go, all right, can we use my sleep out money? She goes, yep. $500 to every sale that I get, I'll donate. The book that I wrote, which is called Brick by Brick, subsequently this charity is called Brick by Brick Fundraising Project. All the proceeds that I got, I wanted, so I'm donating it, so I'll go to that. And if we're short, I'll underwrite the balance. So if we're 100 grand short, I'll give you a check for 100 grand. Does that work? And they go, sure. So I found a block of land, I negotiated the terms, I tendered the build, I negotiated the build. I raised enough money by a mile anyway over 3 years. We just settled it a while ago for $840,000, and we made about $200,000 in profit as well, which will go towards this sleep out. So all these ideas is how it helps you enable your brain in different ways. And I want other CEOs to be inspired and go, how can I use my work more than just the sleep out? So I do things like that just to stay motivated. and just to learn. So every year that I do the sleep out, I try to educate myself more about homelessness. I went out on the soup vans. I went to Kensington and I was packing food. I went to Osnum House. So every year my goal is to learn a little bit more, a little bit more.
Yeah.
When COVID struck, I ran another experiment. You know, I love my experiments. And they've asked all CEOs to sleep in their car, their couch or their backyard, because a lot of homeless people experience that. And I thought, you know what, I need to do something different. So I grabbed my backpack and I go to my wife, I'm going to sleep on the streets for 2 nights. She goes, I'll come with you. So I went out on the streets in Melbourne for 2 nights with no money, because my goal was to ask people for money to eat and to see how it was. And I slept on the streets for 2 nights and I ran the experiment. And I came to my office directly from the 2 nights and I did a podcast with Andrew McKenzie from Vinny's to talk about this experiment. And people will never look at you. They're walking past me. Now, I've got an end date. I'm going home. Now, it
Yeah.
wasn't easy sleeping on the floor or whatever, asking people for $5. I was sitting in front of a donut shop because I love donuts, trying to get $5 for a donut. People walking past me. My brother-in-law walked past and he bought
That's
me a
where I'd be
donut.
too.
And, well, I love donuts and I thought a bit of sugar as well.
Yeah.
And what I
Keep you
found
going.
at night time, you know, you walk past homeless people during the day and they're sleeping and you think, why are you sleeping? The reason they sleep during the day is at night time is when they're at highest risk of getting robbed, getting mugged, getting beaten. So when they take their shoes off and they put in their sleeping bag, that's just to protect themselves. So I was up all night because a few people came up to us and they really scared my ex-wife, and she got really frantic and walking for like 20, 30 Ks. So I had my Apple Watch and we were looking for a safe place to sleep. And that's when all these things started to come to me. And the next day I was up all night because as soon as I closed my eyes, I'd get an elbow to the ribs, like, get up. Then we fell asleep where just opposite the Botanical, there was a 24-hour construction site at the Simon. There was light, so we slept there one night.
Yeah.
And the following day I was tired and I fell asleep a little bit where the grass was in the city because I was so exhausted. And that was from one night. Imagine if it's,
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm showering, I don't know where I'm eating. This is 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. It's insane.
Oh, there's stuff that happens inside to the nervous system. Be a wreck.
You're on fight or flight all the time. Your
Yeah.
body's in constant alert. That's not a good place. Your cortisone rises
Yeah.
and it's not a safe place. And especially for women, like the fastest growing cohort, Alicia, this is shocking, is single women over 55. 1 in 4 kids under 12. Now I've got 3 are homeless. Like I can't even fathom a male, never mind a female or a kid.
I get what you're saying. I actually sit on the board of directors for the Women's Health Centre in our region, and
Awesome.
it's the same. These stats of and I think it's when women in their 40s get divorced, they often become homeless because they're worse off financially. But I just can't fathom that, women above 55 are struggling to have a roof over their heads. Like it's
Picture this though, you're a woman,
insane.
you've worked hard, whether that's in a career or stay-at-home mum, which is a lot harder, mind you. Staying at home mum, it's 24/7. You've
Yeah.
raised kids. And now imagine my daughters or even my ex-wife, all I want is for her to do good things and to be well off. Imagine having that as your reality after you've done the hardest job being a mum
Yeah.
or trying your best to combat whatever it is thrown at you, to then be homeless. Then you make a bad decision that escalates. Now, a lot of these people aren't on Centrelink or they're not on the government system. So it's a vicious cycle that if we can't break it now, Melbourne, 7 years in a row, won the most livable city in the world. And we have homelessness to that rate. And Victorians are growing at the faster rate of any other state. Now, I'm a proud Victorian. I'm a proud Australian. And I'm thinking, how is that possible?
Yeah.
That we're so government underfunded that we're walking past this like it's not going on. And it's happening to our women. It's happening to our children. It's happening to our men. So for me, it's very good and helps me so much. It drives my company. It drives me personally. gives me so much purpose. So it's not really, I'm very fortunate that I can give my time and my money. And I say to people, if you don't have money, give time. Some of these people have been volunteering for 10, 15 years. They've retired. Amazing people, amazing, but they just want to give back. Some
Yeah.
people just give money. You can raise awareness. Now, I'm fortunate. I can do both. I do both. But to be honest with you, for my selfish reasons, I do it because I love it. I do it because it makes me happy. I do it because it drives me. I do it because it shows my kids that this is how you should treat other people. I do it because it makes my dad proud, and I do it because I love it. It helps me.
Mm. Let's recenter a bit. Talk about your legacy that you're building. You've written a book. You host, I think you said you're in 7th season of your podcast, and build a business that's also your passion. What does legacy mean to you? And you mentioned your children multiple times for your business and your children.
What my kids say about me when I'm not in the room, what
Mm.
people say about me when I'm not in the room, the impact I've had on people, the ability to serve my community is the most important thing to me. Not what I think about me, what my community thinks about me, what people that have crossed paths with me think about me, good, bad, and ugly, not just the biased view. Hey, this is my best friend and my mum. Ask them what a nice, kind person I am. Why don't you take a balanced view? Why don't you ask 50 people that have interacted with you? Why don't you find out with your kids, that's my legacy, giving them the best experiences, showing them the goodness that humanity can be, and wanting them to be a better version of me, wanting their kids to be a better version of them. I want them to, when people leave and go, gee, they had such good manners. They were so polite. That's what makes me proud when they say my kids, they're wealthy or whatever they are, whatever. Hopefully they're wealthy, but if they're good human beings, I only have 2 rules for my kids. Number 1, that they're good human beings. They treat everybody the same. They have kindness and they have respect. Very, very important, the way I grew up, to have respect for your elders and to be a good person. Number 2, whatever they pick in life, whatever they pick, to do it with their heart and passion. I don't care if they make 50,000. I don't care if they make 100 million a year. As long as they're proud and they're good. If they do those 2 things, I've succeeded as a father. That's all I really want from them, to be good kids that give back to the community and that are selfless. If they can do them too, and I always say, and it's something that I haven't been successful at, if you can make one decision right in your life, pick your life partner correctly, to be with them forever. That's probably the most important decision that can impact you in so many areas across your life, I think. So yeah, that's what I pass on to my kids. When I see my parents are tomorrow they're celebrating, I think it's, 57 years or something. And I'm the youngest of 4. I got married at 31. I'm the only one. I've got 4 kids. Everyone's got 3. I was the latest to get married, and unfortunately the only one to get divorced. So yeah, I'm a black sheep in every area in my family. I tick every box.
Has to be one. And what advice would you give someone starting out in property today who wants to do it right?
Find a great mentor that lives and breathes what they do, that does it in the way you respect. What I mean by that is, a lot of people see success in life, but they might do it in an unscrupulous manner or an unkind manner. I don't want that kind of success.
Yeah.
I want to be able to talk to someone that's lived and breathed what I've done in a kind, respectful manner that serves his community and does it in the right way. Now, I'm not saying you can't learn lessons from everybody, but for me, I try my best to surround myself with good and kind human beings first and foremost that happen to be successful, not successful people that I wouldn't share a meal with. I want to be around people that I enjoy being with, that inspire me, that do great things, because I think that's important. And I said this on the podcast because this is my 3rd podcast today. I said it's
Podcast day.
yeah, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 50. So if you see someone you inspired to be like, so what were you doing in stage 1 of your journey and how can I get there sooner? Try to bridge that gap. Because when you compare someone who's been doing something for 20 years or 30 years or 2nd generation, 3rd generation, It's easy to feel overwhelmed and go, gee, that's so difficult. Just focus on you versus you and just being 1% better. Be a better version of yourself every day. Be a kinder version of yourself. Everything else will fall into place. You'll look back and go, gee, I've gone so far. Just focus on your next step. That's it.
That's it. It can be so overwhelming, and especially if you don't realize the people you're sort of comparing yourself to are at such different stages, can be very confusing.
And they might have had different opportunities. They were born into a different family. They had better doors open, whatever the case may be. And there's no poor me or you're lucky I'm not. I never subscribe to the victim mentality. It's all a champion mentality. But just focus on the next step. And you compete every day and you compete every day. And I say to my kids, I only want you to compete against one person. Be a better version of yourself. Compete against yourself. You look at other people as a inspiration, but you're your own benchmark. No one else.
Yeah, great advice. And to wrap us up, what gets you out of bed in the morning?
I could give you 100 answers. Everything gets me out of bed every morning. I love Mondays. I love Fridays. I love working. I love my kids. I love challenges. Just grateful having an opportunity to serve my community. So my kids is the first thought that gets me out of bed, but there's everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the prospect of being a better person.
Yeah, I think when you've got such a passion for what you do and you are actually doing what you're passionate about every day, it's an easy thing.
I wish for everyone that they find that. I say, Alicia, I'm a retired businessman that worked 80 to 100 hours a week. That's how I see my life. I'm in a hobby that I love, and that's what I do.
Yeah. I once worked with someone that switched the thank God it's Friday phrase into thank God it's Monday, because you should look forward to going to work.
That's a good one. I'm going to use that. Hey,
Chris,
thank you very much. It was a pleasure being on your podcast.
Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your amazing story and all the insights into your heart and soul. From the sharing about the Reventon Formula to that beautiful philanthropy story, so inspiring to many people. For listeners who want to connect with you or your team, where's the best place for them to start?
Everywhere, fortunately or unfortunately for some people to see my faces everywhere. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram _Chris Christofi. All my details are very available. If you type me up, I appear everywhere, Chris Christofi. Reventon.com.au, you can contact me and my team for a free, no obligation consultation. The first strategy session is free, and you can really unpack your ability and your capability of what you can do through a strategy session with my team. And I'm everywhere. So jump in LinkedIn and follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I'd love to speak to everyone. That's how we connected. So thank you for reaching out to me and on LinkedIn. And it was a pleasure being on your podcast. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. And if this episode gave you a fresh perspective on what's possible when passion meets purpose, send it to a friend, tag us on socials, and let's build something iconic. Until next time, thanks for tuning in to Marketing Made Iconic.